Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for the Leicester game, talking about Pogba, talking about injuries, talking about Pogba leaving or staying, talking about the defence, lots and lots to get involved in as per usual. Very busy day today, to be honest with you. It's been relentless, but we move from Europa League football to Premier League football, not Premier League football, FA Cup football very, very quickly. That's the thing with Europa League. You can't snooze on it because you go straight into an FA Cup quarter-final away to Leicester before this international break, which is very, very welcome. And he spoke about the international break and he spoke about people going on international break, specifically Martial, and how even if he doesn't play on Sunday, he's happy for him to go away on international duty, which is a different angle for a manager to speak about. I did promise you I would come back on the substitutions as well, on how many substitutions Solskjaer is making comparable to maybe Pep Guardiola. So we'll look about that at the moment as well. But let's start off with the Paul Pogba story. And basically he said that, and also he spoke about trophies, and yeah, there has been a little bit of change from what he said a few days ago about, it's about where you come in the league, but we predicted that. But let's start off with Paul Pogba. He was asked about Paul Pogba and the likelihood of him signing a new deal. He said that there's no energy for speculation at the moment. Of course, there are discussions going on with Paul, but I think having him back, you can see how much he enjoys playing for this football club, and that is the main thing for Manchester United at the moment. So, basically just palm it off. I mean, nothing will be decided. Paul Pogba will not decide his future until the summer. Why would he? Why would he commit to Manchester United now when he doesn't know what's on the table in the summer? And as we know, he is basically at an all-you-can-eat buffet. He's having a look. He's deciding what he wants. He's got a plate. He doesn't know what he's going to put on it at the moment. Yes, Ed Woodward and Ollie, they're stood over at the American burger section saying, come and have a burger. But he might fancy a bit of paella. He might fancy a lasagna. He might fancy, I don't think he'll fancy Chinese at the moment. I don't think he'll fancy going to China. But, you never know if the money's right. We've seen players go to China before. But the reality is, he is going to see what's on offer in the summer before he decides where he's going to go. But at the moment, nobody can argue with Paul Pogba's dedication to Manchester United. Nobody can understand. Nobody can have a pop at his enjoyment levels, and nobody can take a pop of how important he is to us at the moment. So we'll see where Pogba ends up. But we're not going to get Pogba's definitely staying, Pogba's definitely going. I think that was the agreement that Manchester United and specifically Solskjaer had with Pogba back in December after Riola's inflammatory comments. It was very much get your head down, work hard, respect the club, and we'll sort this out in the summer. And that is basically what's going to happen. Interestingly, he spoke about Pogba for the Leicester game and sort of contradicted himself a little bit by saying that he can't start. There's no way he can play 90 minutes at the moment. But then again, maybe he can start. So we don't know. But what we do know is that Paul Pogba will play some minutes against Leicester because he's going to go as part of the French squad. So we'll talk about that now. So basically, he was asked a question about, is it an issue that Anthony Martial's been named in the French squad with Paul Pogba, and yet they're not playing for Manchester United? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, really, it's not something that concerns me. They've missed games. They need to go and play. Maybe Martial can be involved on Sunday, but we do need these players to play football, which is quite interesting. Quite interesting, isn't it? Because if Martial doesn't play on Sunday, but then goes and plays for France, I agree with Ollie that it's good for them to get training and maybe play some games, get them sharp. But obviously, it sort of flies in the wind in relation to things that have happened in the past. Sir Alex Ferguson would certainly not let a player go and play if they are injured. He wouldn't do that. He'd want them back at Old Trafford, ready for April and May. So we'll see what happens with Martial. Hopefully Martial will be involved in the game at the weekend against Leicester. I think Leicester's going to be a difficult game, and I think we do need Martial and hopefully Cavani back, which I'll give you the update on Cavani now. But Rashford, to me, is the one where I think Solskjaer needs to try and put his foot down for Marcus's own good. Like, as I said it last night, I'll say it again now. Marcus Rashford is playing injured for Manchester United. There are no breaks. There are no breaks for the kid. He has got 3 games a week. And if he goes on England international duty, he'll play 3 games for England. And if he comes back, he's playing 3 games every week from April until the end of May. And then he's going straight into the Euros. You are already injured. Where's your recuperation? How's your ankle getting better then? How are you going to get your ankle better by just playing through the pain? He needs rest. Recuperation, it's the most basic thing from any doctor, from any physio, from any website, from all of you. What do you do when you're injured? You need to rest it, and Rashford needs the rest, and hopefully Solskjaer can persuade him that going on England duty is not good for him, and it's not good for United. But Ollie on Martial, he said he was close to getting back for this one against AC Milan, but he couldn't make it. But hopefully he can make it for Sunday. Hip injury that he got against AC Milan, they expected him back a bit sooner, but they've had a few issues with it. On Edison Cavani, he said that we really haven't got to the bottom of what the problem is with Edison. He's worked really hard and he's joining training sessions, and towards the end of the training sessions, when he needs to chop it up and feel 100% ready for the game, he hasn't really gotten there yet. It's down to Cavani. He wants to be 100% when he joins in. He doesn't want to come in and look off the pace. Hopefully he can be ready for Sunday, but I'm not sure. After the training yesterday, he felt something that he couldn't travel with us. And obviously that's from Solskjaer giving his press conference reaction last night. So it sounds to me like Cavani is somebody who's very going to put himself first. And I said this a couple of days ago. With Cavani, I'm sure he wants to play for Manchester United, because who doesn't? But ultimately, he's not Marcus Rashford. He's not going to play himself 60, 70% fit. He wants to be 100%. I think Solskjaer's giving you the hint there by mentioning 100%. Look, he can train, but he doesn't feel 100% and he doesn't want to play if he's not 100%. Well, I'm sorry. Sometimes for Manchester United, you play 70% fit. The reason Cavani doesn't want to do that, I don't know. But maybe it's because he doesn't know whether he's going to be here next year. So he puts himself out for Man United in a game against AC Milan, gets a 4-month injury, and United let him go. So maybe this is to do with, I'm protecting myself. I'm only going to play if I'm 100%, because I ain't playing for you 70% fit and risking myself when I might not even be here next year. And maybe we've got that problem with Cavani now. On top of that, he's very injury prone, as we know. So we'll see. But the quote on Pogba was, if he feels okay, maybe we can start him as well. We have to see who other runners and riders are after tonight. It's a long travel. We'll be late back, so we'll see. I hope he's ready to start in relation to Pogba. So there may be some positivity around Paul Pogba potentially starting in that game as well. We will see. But Leicester's going to be a difficult game, isn't it? It will be. And I think that they've, all right, they're missing Maddison and they're missing Harvey Barnes, but they've still got good players. And I think the big problem is that Leicester will be fresh for this game. And I just want to bring this in here, actually. So we were talking about the lack of substitutions that Solskjaer has made. Now, I need to deep dive into this a little bit more, but I wanted to just bring you something to the table. So I think it's generally understood that Solskjaer doesn't trust his bench and doesn't want to change things. So over the last 5 games, comparing him to Pep, last night we made 1 substitution. Pep Guardiola in their Champions League made 5, because you can make 5 in Europe. We made 1. At the weekend against West Ham, we made no substitutions in the whole 90 minutes, not 1. Pep made 2 at the weekend. Last week against AC Milan, we made 4 changes against AC Milan, and Pep made 3 in their Champions League game. In the Man City game, where we played each other, Pep made 2 substitutions, but he made them on the 71st and the 65th minute. We made 3 substitutions, 2 of which, one was 88 minutes and one was 93 minutes. So, all right, we made more subs against Man City, but they were basically in stoppage time. And then the 5th game, we made 2 and they made 1. So, overall, 13 subs for City, 10 for us. It's not massive difference, but I think you can take 2 of those off for United straight away, because they were made in the sort of 88th, 93rd minute. And especially in the last 2 games, we've made 1 sub in 2 games. And yet Solskjaer is saying in the press conference again that I'm really impressed with the team because it's relentless at the moment. And, we're basically, it's tiring, but we're not using the wider squad, are we? So I think Solskjaer does need to use more subs. Of course he does. So, yeah, I would argue that with anybody. We're not making enough substitutions. We've got international standard players on the bench. We've got players that have played well against Neymar and Mbappe. We've got Brandon Williams, who last season was arguably our first choice left back for a bit. So I think there's plenty of players on the bench who can step in, but he doesn't seem to want to do it. Man United have got a new sponsor, by the way. I don't know the value of the sponsorship deal. People are asking me about it. So Team Viewer will take over from Chevrolet. Looks slightly better, Does look a bit like a broken compass, or a compass that's basically cloned itself, or duplicated. But it looks a little bit better than Chevrolet. Ultimately, it's about how much money we get. I suppose that's what it's all about. Sponsorship, isn't it? Let's be crude. Do I get excited about team sponsorship? Not really. I just hope it's a big sponsorship and there's a lot of money involved. But in this current climate, you never know. Last 10 games, you said. Last 10 games, Ollie made 25 on 71st Cup, made 23 average. Gareth, I'm not taking your super chat. I'm sorry, because I'm not reading that out, because I don't know anything about that. I don't know whether it's true, and I don't know whether it's factual, but I know last 5 games that is factual, and also I know in the last 2 games we've made 1 substitution in 2 games. So yes, I will dive deeper, but I think I can only go off what I know. I'm not going to start reading stuff out that I haven't researched. So maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know. But what I do know is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked about the defence and how well, Lindelof and Maguire specifically. He says that he's got sky-high confidence in his defence at the moment. They're doing better. They were good last season and they're doing well now. And they are mentally stronger with every game. Look, all I'd say about this is, as somebody who is very much behind the team, as you know, and as somebody who has said, let's see where we are in May, and as somebody who's really excited about the week we're having and the season in relation to, it's not where I want to be, but I'm not unhappy with where we are. We are in the Europa League. That's where we are, so I want to win it. We're in the FA Cup. I want to win it. And we're second in the league. We're not going to win it, but I want us to keep hold of second. So let's see what we can do over the next few weeks. I think with Pogba back, hopefully get Martial Cavani back. There's a lot to be positive about, but I'm not going to stand here or sit here and say that I'm excited and my confidence is sky high in Maguire and Lindelof. I'm sorry, I'm not. I think there are very, very obvious. The press conference itself gives you the answer. He's asked about the defence and says confidence is sky high, they're playing really well, they're mentally strong. Then he's asked about Mason Greenwood and he's like, yeah, his work rate is unbelievable. He's doing great things, Mason Greenwood, at the moment. Mature performances. Exactly, we've been saying it. Mason Greenwood is underrated. Now, some people didn't think Mason Greenwood played well last night. Why don't they think he played well? For the same reason that some people think Cavani doesn't play well or Martial doesn't play. Mason is the same as them. Graveyard shift. No service. No chances. No, our striker is no longer judged on scoring goals. They're judged on hold-up play, work rate, link-up play. That's basically what you do as a number 9 for Manchester United. And Ollie was very defensive of that straight away. And defensive is the right word, because the reason our number 9 has to be defended for mature performances, strong link-up play, and hard work is because they get absolutely no service. So in the same press conference, you've got Ollie having to defend Mason Greenwood because he did play well with no service. And then on the other hand, he's saying he's got sky-high confidence in his centre-backs who are doing really, really well. But we know why this is. The reason this is because our centre-backs are prioritised over our number 9, which is weird because our there's 2 really weird things about Solskjaer at the moment that he needs to improve on. One of them, his career was built on being a brilliant substitute. He doesn't use subs enough. Second thing, he was a striker. He doesn't utilise his strikers enough. Anybody would think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career was as a starting centre-back in George Graham's team, because we play a back 6 and our number 9 suffers. So the number 9 needs to be praised because they don't get any service and they're just running around doing all this hard work for very little benefit. And our centre-backs get loads of praise, but they are being bubble wrapped by McFred and our fullbacks. And that is the truth. So, of course, you get journalists out there who probably know very little about football, to be honest with you, and they'll start saying Maguire and Lindelof are playing really well at the moment. But it's not just Maguire and Lindelof. They are getting a lot of protection. And questioning about Greenwood is playing well, but there's a total contrast in our team at the moment. Our centre-backs are playing really well, by the way. I thought Lindelof was my man of the match last night. Maguire did play really well. But they're getting loads of support. So they've got fullbacks tucking in. They've got McFred in front of them. They've obviously got a brilliant goalkeeper behind them, whether it's Henderson or De Gea. They've got so much support around them, our centre-backs. How can they fail? How can they fail? You've got support all the way around you. Our number 9, what support have they got? The ball hardly ever makes it up there. So, I think I keep saying this. The number 9 shirt for Manchester United is the graveyard shift. You've got very little support around you. Of course, you've got Bruno there. You've got Rashford. You've got Dan James or whoever. But the ball doesn't get there enough. So our centre-backs should be succeeding and are succeeding because the team is built around clean sheets at the moment. We're not built around scoring goals. Our priority is not to concede and get a goal. That's why throughout this season, we've drawn a lot of games, but we've also won a lot of most of our games this season have been won by one goal. The vast majority of our games this season have been won by one goal. So the praise for the defence is right, but there's mitigating circumstances. Our number 9 struggles in this team, whereas our defence prospers because we're a defensive set-up team with a back 6. New logo looks perfect for a team passing side-to-side football, says Gustav. Well, to me, it looks like a broken compass. So you could say that suits our team a little bit as well, because we do lack a bit of direction in relation to being the best club in the world. Three players are holding us back from being successful, says Devils 58 Reds, McFred and James. And we can't solve those problems till the summer, can we? Solskjaer was asked about trophies, and I knew he'd come back on this, and he was absolutely spot on. So before the AC Milan game, he said that trophies can hide real success and progress. You could win a trophy but not be very good in the league, Arsenal. But what he did say today, and he has said this before, there is career mode today, Kian, I've just not set it up yet. Cooking with Goldbridge is out. I've dropped the link in the video description. Don't forget to check that out, because if you want a lovely pudding this weekend with your Sunday dinner, Goldbridge has delivered. Links in the video description. Make sure you check that out. But he spoke about this and he said, look, I stand by what I said. Trophies can hide success, genuine success. And he's right. You know, Arsenal 8th last year, won the FA Cup, 10th this year. It does hide success, definitely. But also what he said is, it's a boost for everyone if we win a trophy. And he referenced winning the Worthington Cup in 2006, which he can remember. And he said that was the first trophy for people like Vidic and Evra. And they went on to win many more. So Solskjaer understands the enormity of winning a trophy. I just think he was playing it down before the AC Milan game. And I did say it on that press conference when he said that hiding, and some United fans wanted to jump on him and said that it's not egotistical to win trophies and it doesn't hide progress. It does hide progress if you win the wrong trophy and then you're not progressing in the league. We're progressing in the league because 2 years ago we didn't finish top 4. Last year we finished 3rd. This year we're 2nd place. 2nd place on its own is not as good as probably 3rd place in a trophy, really, because 2nd place doesn't really matter. I'd rather get 3rd and win the trophy, because we got 3rd last year but we didn't win a trophy. So that's progression for me. But Solskjaer knows the importance of winning a trophy, and the reason I think he played it down a little bit before the AC Milan press conference was we could have gone out to Milan and we could go out to Leicester at the weekend, and then, you know, he's out of both trophies. I think now Solskjaer is like, yeah, let's get top 4, but let's win a trophy. And you look at that draw against Granada and you think, yeah, let's do that. We almost completely lack any control in the middle of the park where the game is won or lost, says Scott Panton. I think it's amazing what this team is achieving at the moment, Scott. In my opinion, I think it's amazing what we're achieving, because I look at our last 4 games now, and it is 4 games. We beat Man City. I don't think McFred played well. We drew with AC Milan. I don't think Matic and McTominay played well. We beat West Ham. I don't think McFred played well. And we beat Milan, and I don't think McFred played well. So we're winning games with our midfield pivot not playing well. And it wasn't always McFred. Matic and McTominay played against AC Milan. So we are winning games, and we've not conceded in 4 games. So there's something about that pivot that works, because you cannot win games and keep clean sheets with a midfield that's useless. But they're not playing well. But there is a hidden job they're doing well. The hidden job that because they're not. I think I gave McTominay a 4 and Fred a 5 last night, and probably the same for the last few games. So they're not playing well in relation to what Manchester United is. But I've got to be fair here. They are doing a job that is contributing to us keeping clean sheets. And what McFred do is, because there's 2 of them and neither of them could ever do it on their own, what they do is they plant themselves in front of our back 4. And that makes us hard to play through. It makes it very hard to get at our centre-backs. So McFred are doing a job that's contributing to our clean sheets. They definitely are. They are. But I don't think they're playing well in relation to ball distribution, carrying the ball, making us a better attacking side. But they are doing a job defensively. But of course you'd expect them to do a good job defensively. There's 2 of them stood in front of a back 4. Like, we shouldn't be conceding goals. We've got 2 centre defensive midfielders who are just basically planting themselves in front of it. So they're definitely contributing. I mean, I can't sit here, as much as I don't like it, I can't sit here and say that they're not contributing to results, because it's a total contradiction to how I understand football. Football's won and lost in the midfield. So I don't think our midfield 2 have played particularly well in the last 4 games, but we haven't conceded, and they are contributing in relation to their position in front of that. But as we know, most teams don't stick 2 CDMs in front of their back 4 and just sit them there with no contribution in relation to going forward. What you want is anybody could do. You know, I'm convinced that Paul Pogba can do the job that McFred do defensively, but also give us much more going forward, because he does it for France. So we are playing a back 6, Scott. That's what we're doing at the moment. But yeah, it is weird, because I cannot give them a good score for the last 4 games, even Matic when he played. But because they're stood there in front of the back 4, obviously it makes us defensively stronger. Like, it's like when I used to play football at lunchtime. You'd always put the crap kids at the back. You just stand at the back and boot it, get it to me. I'm the flair. But I'm Rick. But yeah, you know, I'd never put the crap kids in goal, because if someone shoots, they'll let it in. But just put them at the back, run about a bit, keep your position. That'll do. And it makes a contribution. Of course it does. I'm not saying these players are crap, by the way. But I'm saying is, if you start, you know, we're playing a back 6. We should be keeping clean sheets. But when you do that, that's why we're not creating many chances going forward. And, you know, we're winning a lot of games by 1 goal. Hopefully with Pogba back, that will change. I want to see Pogba back in the midfield pivot. I think it will really help us. What else did he talk about? He said that Magaluf have built on last season. He didn't call him Magaluf. He called him Maguire and Lindelof. It scares me how Ollie gushes over McTominay, Nate. Scott McTominay, I don't want to talk about it because it's unfair to go in on individual players, but he is very well thought of. Ollie never shuts up about him. Sir Alex loves him. Carrick loves him. Mourinho loved him. There's no doubt there's something there. There is no doubt there is something there. The problem is with McTominay, it just doesn't materialise on a football pitch very often. And it's a shame, because there's clear... I sit here, absolutely, 100%. There are people out there who are geniuses in the football game, and they love Scott McTominay. So he's obviously doing something right, but we definitely don't see it on a pitch in a Man United shirt enough. If I didn't know that Sir Alex Ferguson and Ollie and Mourinho and Carrick loved McTominay, and I'd never heard that, I would be like, Kieran Richardson's better than him. Remember him? Kieran Richardson's better than Scott McTominay as a Man United player, and he was never a Man United player. So there's got to be something there. What else was spoken about? He said he's very happy with the clean sheets. And obviously we're playing so many games at the moment that's really important. We spoke about Magaluf. We've spoken about Mason's maturity. And we've spoken about the sky-high confidence in the defence. I just want to check something here, because somebody just told me that there's some news coming in. So I just want to double-check on this. I mean, ahead of the game for Leicester, I do want to say that it's a very interesting game that we've got against Leicester at the weekend. The fact that they've had a whole week off makes it really difficult. Pep Guardiola about Erling Haaland. He's one of the best strikers in the world right now. If we want him at Man City, you understand I can't answer this question. He's a Dortmund player, so I can't say anything. So yeah, they are. I mean, we can I just say, there are so many reasons why we won't sign Erling Haaland, but that's a very big reason. Manchester City wants him. We can't compete with Manchester City unless we do a Sanchez, and we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't just chuck stupid money to win a deal. What signing do we need in midfield and formation, says Naz. What I want to see, Naz, at Manchester United, please smash a like on the video, by the way. What I want to see at Manchester United is, I want to see a centre defensive midfielder who can play that job on his own. And I want to see Pogba staying at Man United. That's what I want to see. Because I think if we lose Pogba and we don't get a centre defensive midfielder, we are going to have to see what we've seen for the last few games, which is we're going to have to try and grind out clean sheets and win games by the odd goal. And I don't think Bruno will hang around too long in that sort of a system. So I want to see a centre defensive midfielder who can run that midfield. And as I've said before, I actually think someone like Jorginho would make us so much better. And I don't want him, but it's the style of player I want. I want a CDM who knows positionally how to shield his back 4, but is also able to take the ball off the back 4 and play a forward fast pass quickly. Taking the game last night and multiplying it by the last 4 games, I'm tired of seeing, Scott McTominay does this a lot. He gets the ball, he looks forward, he does this little sort of, I can't even I can't even explain it, but you'll know it when I say it. You know when he puts his foot on the ball and quickly turns the other way? It looks really good, but basically you're looking forward and turning around to pass it backwards. Fred does it as well. I'm fed up of seeing, and Dan James does it a lot, and our defence do it a lot. We get the ball, they take on average 2 touches to pass it sideways or backwards. Now, progression is so important. It's speed of movement of the ball. When you get that ball, you can pass it first time. And if you pass it first time, the defence can't set. If I'm a defender and I'm playing against Man United, it's a dream, because as Man United get it from Harry Maguire and pass it into the midfield, I can shout to my centre-back, I can shout to my CDMs, pick him up, I've got my man, because the ball's moving so slow. So you can organise yourselves. Oh, look, McTominay's just passed it to Fred. Right, mark him. You allow the opposition to get themselves set. Now imagine Maguire passes that ball into Fred. I'm looking at my centre-back. I need him to pick up Bruno. But the ball's already at Bruno because Fred's hit it first time. You're not organised. Shit, Bruno's got it. Go to Bruno. Mason's made his run. He slipped Mason in. We saw it against West Ham. That is where we're going wrong. Whatever you think about the personnel, I've got no problem with the personnel if they move the ball quicker. I think the problem is they're not capable of doing it. Everybody in our team, apart from probably Bruno and Mason and Pogba, everybody in our team takes a touch and has a look and then goes and passes it. Well, as I just said there, if you're a defender or a midfielder playing against United, and we've all played football, you know, whether you're playing five-a-side or not, you always want... Think about playing pub football. Think about playing five-a-side. Think about playing FIFA. Whatever it is, you always want the opposition to take a moment, whether it's a touch or a look or whatever, because it just gives you time to get in position. You can't do anything with one-touch passing. You can't do anything with quick forward passing. You can't get in position. You're like, oh shit, I'm out of position. United are so bad at doing that. So I want somebody to come into the team who can take the ball off the back four, and they dictate the play. I love the centre defensive midfield position. That was where I ended up when I was sort of coming towards the end of my career. And I modelled myself on Carrick, a very, very Poundland Carrick. But I love the CDM position because you are the conductor. You conduct the game. You literally are the guy conducting the orchestra. And Carrick was brilliant at it. He'd take the ball off the back four, 40-yard passes, 10-yard passes, 5-yard passes, 60-yard passes, off both feet, bang, 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 bang. Quick movement. Get it going. I'm running this game. And the trouble is, I remember Fred did it once last night and did it a couple of times against West Ham. That's not enough. It should be 15, 20 times a game. You think at how many times they get the ball. They should be getting it. They should be doing that 15, 20 times. We end up praising one and going, oh, he can do it. Nah, you should be doing it loads. What's your thought about playing Pogba and Bruno and Van der Beek in the midfield? You know, I don't think you can, United voice. I think it would be... I don't think we'd have the defensive discipline there. You've got to have defensive discipline. The problem is we haven't got a centre defensive midfielder and we're crying out for one. Matic used to be able to do it, but he can't do it anymore. Yeah. Who are you choosing, Ndidi or Rice? You know what? I have been thinking about this a little bit. Ndidi's probably the better option because he does it on his own more. Declan Rice does it, but Souček is sort of next to him. But having said that, Souček gets more forward than Declan Rice. So Declan Rice can definitely do it. He definitely can. But I think Ndidi does the job better. But then you're looking at, is Ndidi good at getting the ball and playing it forward? Is Declan Rice good at getting the ball and playing it forward? So, yes, they can both do the job on their own. And I think Ndidi's more used to doing it on his own. But are they good at getting the ball and spraying it forward? So there's two areas to this. It's not just their positional sense and being able to do it on their own. It's the ability to pass it forward. And let me just talk about Leicester at the weekend. Last week they beat Sheffield United 5-0. I mean, Sheffield United are a bit shit, but their starting lineup, they've got Fofana back, very good. They've got Johnny Evans and Sionku. They've got Schmeichel. They've got a very good defence. They've got Pereira, Castagne. They've got Ndidi. They've got Tielemans. They've got Perez, Iheanacho and Vardy. So, all right, they've got no Maddison. They've got no Harvey Barnes, but that's not a bad Leicester side. Fofana, Evans and Sionku, very good. Schmeichel's a good keeper. Pereira and Castagne, very good fullbacks. Ndidi and Tielemans, very good midfield. And obviously Vardy with the goals. So, look, I think having played Thursday night with the issues that we've got, we will probably see McFred again. And we will probably see us looking to... I think we'll see a very tight game. Leicester like to hit teams on the break. We won't want to get hit on the break because the pace of Vardy against Maguire and Lindelof means they're going to have to drop. So I think we're going to see a back six again. I think we're going to see, hopefully we'll nick it 1-0 again. But I don't see it running any different to the last few games. I think the interesting thing is, how many subs will we make? How many changes will he make? He picked the same team against West Ham. He picked the same team last night. Is he going to pick the same team 3 times in a week, in 7 days? Is he going to make any subs? And I think that's the interesting thing for me. Why not play Fred, Pogba and Bruno, or Fred, Donny and Bruno with Pogba on the wing, says Jack Cunliffe. I'm still a massive fan of the Sevilla semi-final, where our strikers let us down and our defence let us down. And I thought Pogba, Fred and Bruno played brilliant against a very good Sevilla side. I would like to see Fred, Pogba and Bruno. I think that's our best midfield 3. Because people say, oh, don't trust Fred. But how can Fred, Pogba and Bruno be anywhere near as bad as Fred, Matic and Bruno, or Fred, McTominay and Bruno? It's like, you've still... Basically, it's a triangle. Fred, McTominay and Bruno, right? The only player you're changing is McTominay. So do you want Fred, Bruno, McTominay, or do you want Fred, Bruno, Pogba? Or do you want Fred, Bruno, Matic? It's like... You're not swapping Fred. You're not swapping Bruno. You're swapping McTominay, Matic, or you're picking McTominay, Matic, or Pogba. Well, to me, that's like picking 2 go-karts or a Ferrari. I think I'll have the Ferrari, thanks. So, yeah, I would love to see Frogba. Is that right? Yeah, Frogba. I'd love to see Frogba over McFred. So, I think it's our best midfield 3. I'm not saying it's without problems, but I don't like McTominay and Pogba. It's never worked. I think Matic and Pogba and Bruno used to work, but Matic has just fell off a cliff. So I think it's Fred, Pogba and Bruno for me. I'd love to see that. Marky says, yesterday Ollie was shouting at them to keep the ball and shouted at the centre-backs to sit deep. The slow pace is coming from the coaches. Marky, of course it is. Of course it is. Like, wouldn't you say Sevilla game defence was exposed, says Robert McCormack. Well, Robert, you make a good point. I always like our little chats. But if you look at the goals we conceded against Sevilla, and I haven't watched it back for a very long time, both those goals are because Harry Maguire and other defenders don't deal with crosses. So I can't remember. We had way more chances than Sevilla did. So again, I think you're probably right, Robert, but we've got to get out of that mindset. We should have beat Sevilla. Maybe it should have been 4-2 or 3-2. But we're obsessed with clean sheets now. We're like, oh, were we exposed at the back? No, because we had loads of chances. We should have won that game. But we've got into this mindset now of winning games 1-0. Oh, we can't play like we did against Sevilla. They had a couple of chances. Well, yeah, we're not conceding chances at the moment, but we're not making chances. Do you want 1-0s or do you want 4-2s? And Sevilla should have been 4-2 to us. So I want I want the Sevilla game with a better defence. I don't want West Ham games where it's, tight. So it's what you want, isn't it? I think the Sevilla game was against a very good side and we should have won that game, but we didn't because of our defence and our attack. Yeah, we lost because of chances, I'm just saying, says Robert McCormack. Yeah, that's what I mean, Robert. We did, but we also had very good chances and we lost 2-1. I think we should have won that one 3 or 4-2, to be fair. Right. Let's have a look. But look, I mean, we can discuss this until the cows come home. We really can. I think the reality is we've got what we've got. I hope we win against Leicester, get a bit of a break, come back in April and May. It's only 8 weeks. And then in the summer, the board's got to deliver. And then next season is where realistic... Solskjaer's manager next season, by the way. I don't think anybody is not expecting that. And he should be manager next season. But I think next season for me, McTominay's 25 in December, Matic is 42 and Fred's 28. So... there's no future. It's not like they're going to get any better. They're pretty much at the level they're going to be. They're not young players. Like, I don't know what Ollie thinks he's going to get. They're not good enough now. They're not going to be good enough in 3 years. So he's got to improve that midfield. Maguire and Lindelof ain't going to get any quicker, so he's got to buy a quick centre-back. And we need to try and keep Pogba and hopefully get a right winger because he ain't using Diallo enough, is he? So I think we need to buy a right winger. But I'm telling you now, if you added a really good CDM, a quicker centre-back and Sancho to the right wing, we would be a much better side. And I think we'd start winning games 4-2, 3-1, 3-2, a lot more, and we wouldn't have to put up with 1-0s. But that's a total culture shift. At the moment, we are going out there to not concede with a back six and nick a goal. That's what we are. Nobody, whether you're Ollie in or Ollie out, can deny that. We are going out with a back six to not concede and nick a goal. That is our plan right now. It can't be that plan next season, though. We've got to evolve, and we'll have to wait and see. I don't think we can get a midfielder much better than Fred at defending, and Pogba definitely solves our problem of moving the ball quicker if he doesn't play Frogba now. Will he ever, says Arito. And I personally think that's it as our best midfield. Please read my previous super chat. We need every combination possible to challenge, says Aka. Let's have a look what he said. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. We're closing in on nearly 9,000, over 1 million. So bottom right-hand corner to do that. Let's have a quick look at what he's talking about then. There is an 8 o'clock show tonight. Of course there is. Yeah, join us for that. But... Baby Shark. Dun, 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 dun. Let's have a look what he had to say then. Kessie over Rice, Mark. Kessie's not really a CDM though, mate. He isn't. He's more of a... Kessie would replace Pogba for me. He wouldn't solve our CDM problem. It's like signing a Grealish, isn't it? You've done that one. Are you doing FIFA 21, Jay? Yes. I'm going to set it up in a moment. Yesterday, Ollie was shouting, Mark, you're doing FIFA 1? Yes. Never would be the man. Perfect signing as a CDM. Neves would be the man, says United. I do like Ruben Neves, but we're just never linked to him. United just removed the red from Fred's shirt and stuck a number on the back, and the board unveiled him as a signing. Reshuffled like Director of Football, says Steve Locke. Thoughts on our spacing? All forward passes seem long, says NetHH. I do think we hit a lot of long balls, Nate, because we don't have the confidence to play through the pivot. They're not good enough. We should sign Kessie instead of Jorginho, says Allery. Yeah, but Kessie's not a CDM, is he? I think if Pogba went, I would like him, but there we go. Chilled Aussie says, if Man City signed Haaland, do you think the league is theirs for the next few years? I think it's theirs for the next few years anyway. City getting Haaland or us getting Haaland doesn't stop City winning the league next year, because we need to build a team. Just realised we signed Fred the Red for 50 million, says Steve Locke. What signing do we need in the midfield and formation? We did that one. And if it scares... Yeah, okay, we've done that. I'm worried about this single centre-back. Hunt still wants trash, says AKA. Okay, thank you very much. Right, thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Please smash a like on the video. We are back at 8 o'clock. I am playing FIFA in just over an hour on That's Football. But I've got to give a shout out to Cooking with Goldbridge, which has just gone out. I've dropped the link in the video description. It's a cracker this week. If you've never watched Cooking with Goldbridge, I don't know why. You're missing out on possibly the best series on YouTube. So give it a watch. Links in the video description. And I'll speak to you a little bit later on. Thanks everyone for watching.